Welcome back to the Blindsiders. I am Ben here with Brian to talk about episode number 12 of Survivor 49. We are 1 week out from the finale of Survivor 49. And Steven has left us this week. I'll be honest, Brian, I came into this episode pretty confident that Steven was going to go home, but I didn't think it would be like this, where Sage and Christina end up voting for him. I thought that would be an idle play.
Yeah, it was a good episode. I think that it's kind of like showing why Christina and Sage aren't going to win. I mean, it felt like a hard throw, as hard of a throw as we've seen on Survivor in a while.
Yeah, I think that for me, also coming out of this episode, I'm pretty confident that Sophie is also not winning, right? She kind of got buried this episode. At this point, if Savannah or Rizzo don't win, I don't know what the fuck we're doing.
Why are we talking about this if they're not going to be the winner?
Yeah. I think you can make an argument either way. I've been a proponent of Rizzo's game in particular, but I think that there's stuff to talk about with Savannah in terms of because of Rizzo's idol, she's always been the default obvious target, and she either wins immunity or there's some plan that gets foiled or gets flipped around. I think that both of them are very strong cases.
Yeah, I gotta say I'm very impressed with Savannah's challenge prowess. I mean, 3 wins, huge. There's just no way I can see her losing another challenge, quite frankly. I mean, Steven's gone.
Well, I mean, Sage got close with her in this challenge, right? In this immunity challenge, at least.
Sure.
Rizzo's really bad. Christina's really bad. Sophie is fine in some challenges, but kind of inconsistent. Sage is pretty good at certain specific things, but Savannah is just really, really good at the type of specific type of endurance challenges that Survivor, modern Survivor does. She just kind of has that Harv grit to her, where she just turns off pain and just goes, just powers through anything.
Yeah, it's so impressive. And I mean, we've talked about it for a few weeks now. It feels like a slow march towards one of them winning.
Yeah,
between Savannah and Rizzo, and each week just keeps reinforcing that idea. I think it'd be shocking. I mean, we already said it. This is the episode explaining why the other 3 lose, but it would be so shocking if one of them pulled it out.
Yeah, I mean, you would have to assume that they can only those 3 now can only beat each other, right? And with Rizzo again keeping his idol here and somehow pulling off a lie that his idol only is good through final 6, which is just not ever been the case, or basically throughout the entire history of the idol existing in its current format.
There's Survivor Gabon had it randomly at 6, but that's it. I think it's been 5 for every other idol.
Yeah, and then obviously in the Panama and Cook Islands, it was 4 before they realized that was broken when you switched to a final 3, which they did at Cook Islands, and they're oh yeah, I guess we have to bump it up now if we're going to keep doing a final 3.
Right.
It's just I don't know how he got away with that lie. I don't know how. It didn't even seem like he realized that he successfully convinced Sage to vote out Steven. I don't even know if he did successfully, if he was the one to convince Sage to vote out Steven. But 1, that's what the edit was telling us. Mm-hmm. And 2, it's such a patently stupid thing for Sage to do that I just want to believe that that's what happened, because Sage coming up with that idea absent Rizzo manipulating her makes her, in my opinion, look worse. I think if she gets played by Rizzo, you're oh, okay, Rizzo is just a better player than her. If she just does that with no coaxing at all, she's just throwing her game away for nothing. What are we doing here?
No, I mean, maybe the perception was just super different on the island and we're not privy to it, but to be oh, Joanne got voted off, now I need to get revenge on Sophie and Steven. It's like, nope, wrong.
I don't like. Is that even the logic? Like, I could like, I understand that logic for Sophie to a degree because she actually was the one that flipped. But like, there's no reason to vote out Steven. Like, it seemed like the logic for her was the people I can beat in a jury vote are Sophie and Christina, and I need to like manufacture a path for me to get to the final three with them. And because both Rizzo and Savannah are off the table, therefore, like the third biggest person that can beat me in the jury vote is Stephen. But it's like, you're not going to get there. Like, like maybe they're lucking out now where because of Rizzo's actions at the tribal council with the idol, like going up and then like sitting down and not playing it, like, you know, maybe there's like an outside chance that can flip Sophie, but like, you know, that's like a whisper in the wind in my opinion. And then on top of that, because Rizzo kept his idol, because Savannah is the most likely one to win immunity, like she's just going to be in the same position that she was in this round, next round, almost certainly. But like now she doesn't have guaranteed numbers. And it's like, take your guarantee shot at the final four, if not the final three, and like argue your case against Stephen. I think that's like a perfectly reasonable toss-up case you can put forward to the jury. Like, even if you have a 40% chance of winning versus Stephen's 60 or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. Take the 40% chance to win the game as opposed to like, now you're basically drawing dead. Like, what are we doing?
No, it's bad. It's so bad. It, like, I was shocked, frankly, that I was like, oh, I guess Soph will go, and then Rizzo will be safe with his idol, and Savannah will be safe with her immunity next round, which probably will happen anyways. And the two of them flipping, I didn't see it coming because it's so dumb.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. I feel bad for Steven.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of also like, you know, I say Sophie got buried. I think Sage got buried, and like also we have the moment where Christina gets buried in the edit, where like she's just like all over the place, basically telling Steven to his face, like, yeah, I told Sage that I'm considering flipping on you, but that's not for real, you know. Like I definitely like talked through the entire thing. I'm definitely looking forward in my game, but like that's not real. Like I definitely talked it through, but like, you know, I'm not gonna do it. Like I personally am kind of sick of Steven's metaphors because most of them don't make sense and they feel like they're being fed to him out of an AI generator or something.
Alex was right there with you in his reaction.
Yeah, which also like the fact that the jury is rolling their eyes at Steven is to me, and whilst applauding Sage at the last tribal council, like to me is indicative that like Steven was not a jury threat to Sage in the way that she thinks he is. Like, no, again, agreed. Like I think that Sage wins if she's in the final three with Steven and Christina. So like another reason why I was dumb, but like, yeah, I don't even know. This is kind of like we talked about with Christina before. This is the ultimate outcome of having these three tribe formats where you have people who consistently are able to get to the merge without going to a tribal council. You know, they're like safe until the final 11, final 10. You know, they're put into a split tribal at that point, and then there's like no reason to take them out because they're not a threat. And then they like kind of just either fall into the background or like are just like a number in a majority, but they like have patently no understanding of how to play Survivor, and like that's where we're at. And then eventually they just like they're far enough along where they just become a vote and they get 0 votes at the end. And that's where Christina is now right now.
Yeah. Oh man. So that's our opinion on the vote aspect of things. We want to kind of what do you think of the sanctuary coming back again and the letters from home? And do you think that Sophie was going to flip before the letters from home and then that pushed her over the edge, or what are your thoughts there?
Well, I mean, it didn't end up mattering, right? She didn't have the opportunity to flip either way because Savannah wins the immunity and then she becomes a backup target. So like, we really can't, it's really hard to evaluate Like, it's even really hard to evaluate whether she would have flipped in the case that Savannah loses immunity, even with the reward. Like, we have no idea. Like, maybe like it plays out next week or in the finale or whatever, but like it's possible that it doesn't because Savannah wins again, and then Rizzo has the title again, and then all of these strategic decisions don't end up mattering,
right?
Which is again kind of a weird consequence of like having all of these advantage get-in things going on in this end game, where like a lot of the strategic and social maneuvering doesn't really matter, and it just comes kind of down to like how the trinkets play out on the Kitty land board,
Yeah. No, always fun. Always a good thing when your game is dictated by random, chance. That's good game design, Jeff.
Yeah, it's very good game design when you have a advantage that's randomly not played at tribal council, when like 99% of advantages that have ever existed in the game are always just played at tribal council. What a weird fucking loophole thing.
Yeah. In the chat, we have a question. Did Rizzo cheat tonight by asking Savannah, was your vote blocked? I don't think so. No. I mean, I think that's fair game to ask.
Yeah, you're not allowed to talk or strategize while voting is happening, but we've seen, people go up. We've seen, like, for instance, like in San Juan del Sur, like Natalie asking Jacqueline, like, did you vote for who I told you to vote for before she plays her idol? Like, this was like definitely a longer dialogue than we usually get. And I don't know why he thought that Sophie, I guess because Sophie was a target, he probably assumed that Sophie was the one that got blocked. But like, yeah, I mean, it didn't seem to ultimately really change his decision at all. And yeah, there's definitely precedent for people to be able to talk and ask questions of each other before an idol is played.
Yeah, because at that point, what can he do?
Yeah.
He still has to make the right decision with the idol, and he did. So good on Rizzo. Crazy he's been able to hang on to it for so long, though.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, what do you think the jury is going to credit him for like basically using it as like a shield and like constantly like bluffing that he's going to play it? Or do you think that they're going to like demerit him for basically having like a get out of jail free card the entire time? Because like we've kind of seen this go both ways historically throughout Survivor.
I personally would give him credit for hanging on to it that long. I mean, and even like just trying the lie that he did, that like in my mind wouldn't work, but it did work, and he only found out that it worked because he tried it. So good on him for doing that.
Yeah, and I mean, like, lying about what your advantage or idol does is extremely powerful, and like it's something that players, like really good players, have used throughout the history of the game. And it's so powerful, in fact, that like it's explicitly not allowed on Big Brother, right? Like there's a concept in Big Brother called using production as a strategy, and part of using production as a strategy, as a concept, when you get a hidden power on Big Brother, you are not allowed to lie about what it does, because then if a player goes into the diary room and asks the producers, to clarify something about the power, then you're basically putting production into a position where they have to lie on your behalf. And that, within the concept of the game, is called using production as a strategy. But that's not the case on Survivor. And so you should use that advantage whenever you can to, like, Tony is famous for this, for instance, like basically his bag of tricks, lying about what his powers do or his idols do, using fake idols as a bluff, his shoes. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been a big fan of people doing that, but it's within the rules, so do it. I mean, I think like when it really came to a head for me was Millennials versus Gen X, when David included the like validation rules with his fake idol. Like, I was like, that's going a little too far. Like, bluffing somebody by telling them that your fake idol is a real idol is one thing, but like giving him the validation papers, I think that was a step too far. But it didn't matter. Survivor didn't step in, so like if they're gonna let you use production as a strategy, you got to do it.
Yeah, I think that's like kind of what we've seen just historically in the show is like you push the limits until you get told no, right? And then like things that have historically not been allowed, production will like kind of fudge the rules on the spot. Things like live tribals were never allowed before until it happened on Game Changers, and like now they've become kind of commonplace. Things like Ben playing his idol before the vote and like forcing Jeff to like verify that it's a real idol as like a strategy was like explicitly against the rules for a long time. And then Jeff in the moment in Heroes, Healers, Hustlers just decided, oh, I'm going to change the rules on the spot. And like, because he wants it to be good TV. Like this is like,
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Also in the chat, doesn't think Rizzo can win because he's 24 and they won't want to give a 24-year-old $1 million. Do you think that people will think that way?
I mean, have you heard of a guy called Judson Fabio Berza? Because Judson Fabio Berza won Survivor at the age of 21 when he is like, a goofball stoner who like seemed like he had no foundation in life. Like I think Rizzo seemed a lot more put together and has a better handle on life than Fabio did. And Fabio handily won a jury vote. So I think that's a silly concept. Like, I think if people think that Rizzo played the best game and they don't despise him, then he's going to win.
I remember Lil didn't want to bring Johnny Fairplay to the end because he thought he'd ruin his life with $1 million. Yeah. But we've come a long way from then.
Yeah, and that's also one person, right? And like the reason that Lil made that, calculation in her head was because the jury would have awarded Johnny Fairplay the $1 million, right?
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't have. Yeah, the jury would have voted for him. So that's a great point. But yeah, I think people won't care that much, and like everybody losing next to Reality Queen Savannah, it's a coronation. It does feel like a bit of a coronation. I think especially if she wins and then is on next season, like it's that's kind of a good pull for Survivor if they were able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's like a coronation. The edit maybe a little bit because it's been very in our face for a long time that it's like the Rizzo and Savannah show for obvious reasons. And obviously if they are like if they do come in like first and second place or something like that, like valid, right? But I don't think that people are like trying to hand the game to Savannah. I think that like they're just bad at the game, and Rizzo and Savannah are good at the game. And Savannah is also very good at challenges.
Yeah, like when you say just stay home, you're gonna be a sheep. And I don't think in Sage or Christina's minds they think they're being sheep, or Sophie's. I think they're like, yes, Steven was most likely to win a jury vote, and I gotta get him out. Yeah,
no, I mean I disagree with the logic. I think that we can use facts and evidence to show that their logic is flawed, but like nobody thinks that they're a bad Survivor player. Nobody's gonna sign up to be on Survivor and be like, yeah, I'm horrible at Survivor. Let me go starve in the woods for like a month to lose and get embarrassed on national TV, right? Like, if you are a sheep, you're probably not self-aware enough to realize it. So that's kind of like. That's on the show, I guess. They got to cast less sheep, right? That's not their fault. They want to win $1 million, and they have a not accurate understanding of their own abilities.
Yeah, and it's just like you wish that it wouldn't happen, but as they always say, like you're the hero of your own story. In their minds, the board's looking different than what we see it coming together. Because of the edit that's guided by hindsight of who wins
Yes.
and all that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, like, we're watching the edited show. Obviously, the edited show is preordained with the knowledge that Rizzo and Savannah are going to be the like victors of the season, and so everything is going to be shown to us about like how great Rizzo and Savannah are, and like it's going to hide the things that are irrelevant about the players that lose. But on top of that, like I think that like if you're comparing Sage to like Mitch last season, Mitch is like significantly worse. In like Sage has made multiple moves this season, and she's like definitely like been an active player. It's just that like I think that her reads are really bad, and I think that like her ability to understand her own position within the game has been kind of bad. But like she's been an active player. She's made moves. She was in a really good spot for a while. And barring Rizzo being able to hold on to his idol for so long, and Savannah being so good at challenges, I think that she probably would be in a better spot to win. Whereas like Mitch last season was basically, you could have like swapped him out with an AI chatbot, and the result would have been the same.
Damn, but true. Also, I mean, yeah, that was very disappointing to watch last season, and I do think because of that, the players are actually playing. I prefer this season, but it's still like the same outcome where it's like, how are these people making this mistake? It's so obvious. I mean, we watch Big Brother, and like that's a live show, so we can see the narratives forming. You know what I mean? Like it's not like it's not out there for them.
Yeah, 100%. And I think like like Rizzo and Savannah have also not played perfectly, right? Like I think they have gotten bailed out by like a handful of things happening to go their way. But they've put themselves in like it's kind of like the old saying when it comes to luck, right? Like you make your own luck by creating situations for you to succeed by being lucky. Like you can't just win with luck. You have to put yourself in a position where luck can put yourself in your favor. So I think that's really the thing that Savannah and in particular Rizzo have done really well, is they've seen like little advantages that they're able to take, bit by bit, and points where they're able to kind of grab power where there shouldn't be any.
Yeah. So I guess, do we have any guesses to how the finale will play out?
I mean, coming into this episode, I said I laid out what I expected to happen, which was Steven out at 6, Sage out at 5, Sophie loses at Fire, and then Christina 0 vote finalist, and then if it's a toss-up for me who wins, a jury vote between Savannah and Rizzo. I could see it go either way.
Yeah, I think, that's pretty solid prediction for the boot order. I think it'll be interesting. I think what I'm most looking forward to is seeing the trailer for season 50. I want to get hyped for that,
Yeah, I mean,
a little tease tonight. I thought we were about to see something.
No, they've been doing this every week where they like just do the flame thing. Like,
yeah. I can't wait.
Well, I think they're just waiting because like they're waiting for the season to end so that they can show the preview in its full capacity with like, because the two players on 49 are not technically like, like everyone knows, but like, the show, from the show's perspective, not everyone knows. So they're going to wait until obviously the season's over before they show a preview with everyone in it.
Yeah, can't wait, man. I'm so excited for that season. The season has been fine. It's had its moments, but it's certainly, not as good as a top tier season. I don't know if it's as bad as people are saying it is. I want to give some time after it ends to decide whether or not that's the case. But yeah.
I think 48 had higher highs in the beginning. Like I think the Thomas blindside for me, like that episode,
that was good.
Was probably better than any individual episode this season. But I think this season on the whole has been better than 48, just because like the back half of 48 for me just like dragged so hard. Whereas like here, there's like some intrigue. So yeah, I think coming out of this, I'm probably gonna put this slightly ahead of 48, but yeah, not a very good like back to back, especially for me because I really loved both 46 and 47. Like I know we shit on the new era a lot, but like 46 is like probably one of my favorite seasons in the last 10 years or so.
Yeah, it was good.
And I'm excited for the three players from that season to come back. And so it is disappointing that we have gotten these kind of two mediocre to bad seasons kind of back to back.
Yeah, but hopefully season 50 will elevate it back. We'll see.
Yeah. Anything else from this episode? I feel like this was like kind of just like a slow march of death where we're just like kind of like this is another thing with the editing this season that we've talked about before, where it feels like the show has been focusing more on telling like an episodic story as opposed to like kind of like a macro narrative for a season. And they've been like really relying on like kind of beating you over the head like with a hammer in terms of the macro story, where it's like been so obvious that this like Rizzo Savannah Soph trio is going to succeed ever since the Nate boot, that like they've eschewed any other real like larger narrative and kind of written off every other player and are just kind of trying to tell an individual like episode length story, but also trying to hide the boot at the same time in a way that like undersells the decision making of the other players. So like we get a little bit right of Sage's reasoning for why she does what she does tonight, but like because she ultimately does vote out Steven and the show wants to like hide that to make it more suspenseful, because if we come into this tribal council knowing that it's 5-1 on Steven, all of the trinkets don't matter, and all of this like grandstanding, the knowledge is power, the idol, the advantage that Steven uses, none of it mattered. And like if we know coming in that Sage is flipping, then all of that intrigue is you kind of just like falling asleep waiting for it to end, basically, because it doesn't matter. And so because of that, I think they really burnt Sage in terms of not fully explaining her rationale. I can't personally see what her rationale could be that I would agree with, but like it does suck that like she's not really given space to defend her move. Like maybe we'll get it at the start of the finale, but like because the show is trying to hide the outcome to make it seem like all of these trinkets matter, we're just not getting that side of the story.
Yeah, it's well said. All right, man. Anything you want to promote before we get on out of here?
No, I think we got a couple more questions in the chat or whatever. My prediction: Savannah winning 49 and 50 back to back. I think that's unlikely.
That'd be crazy.
It would be crazy. I think we obviously after that point we have to have a discussion about where she ranks in terms of like the greats. But like I think if assuming Savannah is winning 49, which I think like coin flip at this point, I guess I could go either way. Like coming on to a season like season 50 with so few winners in terms of like 3 out of 24 is not great, like a great spread. Like even Heroes vs Villains had 4 out of 20, which is higher odds. Like and the back-to-back season situation, like it's going to be difficult for I think Savannah and Rizzo to really find their groove unless there's like some kind of new era, old era split going on, which is possible, and they just like happen to get swept up in like a numbers thing and they can get footing that way. Maybe Kyle is seen as a bigger threat because people actually have seen his season coming in. Like, he's the most recent winner that people will have seen. I don't know. I think like if people know that Savannah and or Rizzo is the winner, like they're gonna be like, oh, he or she must have played like a really impressive game to immediately get brought back, because like that's no winner has immediately been brought back the following season. Like the other two winners on the season are Dee and Kyle, who are widely considered the two best winners of the new era up until this point. So like you would expect the third winner on the season to be at that level. And so like if Dee and Kyle are presumably going to be targets, you would think that the winner from 49 is also going to be a target. So we'll see.
Yeah. No, totally makes sense. All right. Well, anything you want to promote, or we good there?
No, I'm not doing anything these days other than this podcast. So right. Well, we have the we'll be back next week to cover the finale, and then Dylan will hopefully be with us, and then you meet Dylan and Julia in the new year. We'll be covering the Trader season 4, and then right as the Trader season 4 ends, we'll be starting the coverage for Survivor 50.
Can't wait.
We'll take a small 2-week break for the holidays and back on the train.
Yep, and then after that, right into Big Brother / Love Island on this channel. Ben and I aren't the recappers of Love Island. That's Julia and Jenny, but that's a great show. So check that out when it's time for it. Yeah, other than that, check out the main channel. We could get everything. Just put up a new video yesterday. Our spin-off channels, Those Fake Nerds for nerd and pop culture news. We get sports for sports news. We've kind of only been doing them as shorts channels lately to kind of experiment with that. So that's where the content is there. And then this channel is, of course, Better Radio, which has all of our podcasts. And our news channel is History is Wicked. Go check that out for cryptids, urban legends, and weird history stories. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.